Holy crap. Look who just tried to enter the US and was stopped seconds before it was too late. We don't hear much about Iran these days, but what has just happened will send a chill up and down your spine. While the world as a whole is focused on the fat nut job in North Korea or the fake Russian collusion charges against members of the Trump administration, everyone seems to have forgotten the evil that is coming out from the religion of peace-following nation that is Iran. This time an Iranian citizen identified as a senior member of the country's Basij military force was apprehended trying to enter the United States via Boston's Logan Airport. According to multiple sources familiar with the situation, he was posing as a cancer researcher. Once he was discovered, he was put on the first commercial flight back to Iran. How was it that this terrorist got a visa to come to the US, to begin with? And why wasn't he arrested and questioned for information before being sent back to Iran? The scumbag Muslim was identified as Sayed Mahsen Dihnavi, who is a member of Iran's highly vetted volunteer Basij force. Of course, because American liberals are always on the side of our enemies. Former U.S. Secretary of State and traitor to his fellow Vietnam veterans, John Lurch Kerry wasted no time in shimming in on this debacle. Mr. Kerry Hines seems to have forgotten that Iran has constantly said they want to wipe Israel and the U.S. off the map. But it doesn't matter to him. We all know Kerry hates this nation, probably even more than the Iran does. Alan West reports. Is this the real reason Obama is giving Iran $11.9 billion? This story was first reported back in January, but in light of recent developments it's quite relevant today. The whole Iranian nuclear deal is exploding, pun intended, in the face of the Obama administration. The fact that President Obama is dispatching Secretary Kerry to Capitol Hill to stand against congressional oversight of this fiasco is quite disconcerting. But a Fox News report from earlier this year should cause all of you great concern. In January, the Obama administration paid $490 million in cash assets to Iran and will have released a total of $11.9 billion to the Islamic Republic by the time nuclear talks are scheduled to end in June, according to figures provided by the State Department. The Free Beacon says yesterday's $490 million release, the third such payment of this amount since December 10, 2014, was agreed to by the Obama administration under the parameters of another extension and negotiations over Tehran's contested nuclear program that was inked in November 2014. Iran will receive a total of $4.9 billion in unfrozen cash assets via 10 separate payments by the United States through June 22, 2015, when talks with Iran are scheduled to end with the final agreement aimed at curbing the country's nuclear work, according to a State Department official. Iran received $4.2 billion in similar payments under the 2013 interim agreement with the United States and was then given another $2.8 billion by the Obama administration last year in a bid to keep Iran committed to the talks through November, when negotiators parted ways without reaching an agreement. Iran will have received a total of $11.9 billion in cash assets by the end of June if current releases continue on pace as scheduled. Folks, we are so stupid that we are paying the Iranians to diss us and stall this process. In other words, Iranian belligerence pays, and pays quite well. So the economic sanctions are being lifted and the Grand Ayatollah has demanded they end immediately. So what are we gaining in this whole debacle? We shared with you yesterday that Russia has lifted the ban on the sale of the S-300 anti-aircraft missile system to Iran. Russian President Putin has declared the ban as unnecessary. I'm starting to believe this whole endeavor with Iran is unnecessary, if not abjectly insane. I fail to see how any of this is to the benefit of the United States, certainly the global community, and our ally Israel. We are slowly providing an economic recovery to Iran, while our own economy struggles. Just to give you a comparative assessment, the Free Beacon says, between November 2014 and July 2015, the interim deal's direct forms of sanctions relief will allow Iran access to roughly $4.9 billion in frozen money, U.S. Senator Mark Kirk, RL, told the Washington Free Beacon that's equal to what it'd cost Iran to fund Hezbollah for as much as 50 years. I am not a conspiracy theorist, but you just have to ask as a point of inquiry, does all of this have anything to do with Valerie Jarrett, who has an Iranian background? In fact, WMD reports in 2012 Jarrett was the main and central player in behind-the-scene talks between U.S. and Iran leaders, according to an independent Persian-language blog. The blog said Jarrett attempted to facilitate communication between officials on both sides. WMD says, retired Lieutenant General William G. Jerry Boykin, former Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence under President George W. Bush, spotlighted Jarrett's influence in a Fox News interview in February. There are many who are now saying that Jarrett is really the architect of this non-treaty with the Iranians, he said, which ultimately will result in the Iranians having a nuclear program, and America having to accept a nuclear-armed Iran. Whatever your theory, there is a reason why President Obama wants no congressional eyes on this deal or their constitutional right of approval. Why is Obama so vehemently against any action from our congressional representatives? Why are we rewarding the bad behavior of the Islamic regime in Iran, especially as they are holding 4 Americans hostage? Something smells very bad here, and regardless of your political affiliation you must admit that, unless permanently damaged by the Kool-Aid poisoning. If you feel this is acceptable, well, you are very wrong. Liberal scumbags like John Kerry better start checking themselves. Their hatred towards President Donald Trump is so damn rabid that they would rather side with an enemy that is hell-bent on the destruction of the Western world. They keep repeating this isn't who we are every damn time President Trump talks about banning immigration from terrorist hotbeds until we can sort out who these people are. No matter what you believe our values are as a nation, there is one thing I do know: if we keep letting Muslims into this country, we won't be the United States of America for long. Please share if you are sick of liberals always siding with our enemies. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe Breaking News 365 channel. Goodbye and see you again.